What's going on, guys? So I wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about AR-15s and building versus buying. If you're mostly this is for like a new person, but even if you're not new, you may be able to get a little bit of information out of this video. But this is mostly geared towards new people and whether they should build versus buy an AR-15. I've bought a lot of different ARs over the years. I've built a lot of different ARs over the years. My first AR-15 I bought, and I bought AR-15s for a while, and then I went to building AR-15s, and now I kind of circled back around, and now I'm back to mostly buying AR-15s. I still build a little bit, but so I wanted to talk about some things that I've learned over the years. And there was I watched a couple build versus buy videos, and there was one main thing that people didn't mention, which I was actually a little shocked. So we'll get to that. First of all, let me introduce the players. So this is a Smith & Wesson Sport 3. This was a factory rifle that I bought. And this is a PSA Freedom budget rifle that I put together. So when I talk about buying, when I talk about building, what I mean is I buy the complete uppers. I'll buy a strip lower and I will build the lower. And in doing that, when you buy two pieces of a gun together, not together, but two pieces of a gun separate, you actually save money doing that. So there's a tax, and this is what I was saying that nobody talks about. So when you buy a completed firearm in the United States, it doesn't matter what state you live in, because this is a federal excise tax. So no matter what state you live in, you have to pay an extra tax if you buy a complete rifle. So no matter how you skin it, if you build a rifle, you're going to save money. It's just the way it is. So if you're looking at building or saving a little bit of money, you may want to consider building a rifle. The thing, if you build a rifle, the problem is you're going to need tools. You need a this is an AR-15 wrench. This one's made by Magpul. You're also going to need some punches, like a little watch hammer, has like a brass tip on it, maybe a plastic tip on the other side. There's going to be some things you need, and there's some videos you can watch to figure out exactly what you need if you do your research. And they're not expensive, and then once you have the parts, you have them, so you can keep building. So that's not a huge issue. And the other thing that people mentioned, as far as if you buy like a complete rifle, it comes with a warranty, and if you build a rifle, it doesn't. And that's not necessarily true. So PSA offers lifetime warranties on all their products. So as long as you buy everything off their website, and then you have an issue with it, you can always call them, and I'm sure they would take care of it. Usually, if I put a rifle together like this, and if I have some kind of issue, I'll usually sort it out myself. Depending now, if it's something like a gas issue with the gas block or something, then I would call PSA and send it back or whatever. But the reason I don't necessarily build the uppers is because there is some things you have to get right, as far as the gas block has to be put on correctly, it has to be torqued correctly, and the barrel nut, depending on what rail you're using, barrel nuts have to be timed. It's not a big deal, it can be done. I just prefer to buy the complete rifle, the complete upper, and then that's already done for me. And assembling the lower is easy. One thing that, if you do decide to build, or even if you buy, major thing that you need to look for is your castle nut, which is this here. You need to make sure that it's staked. And I like to stake mine twice. And that's my staking job there. Not the best, but not the worst. And basically what that does is it prevents the castle nut from coming loose. Now you hear a ton of guys that build budget rifles, and they'll say something to the effect of, you don't need to worry about staking your castle nut. I've had 20 ARs, I've never staked my castle nut, and I never had a problem. And that's because they don't shoot. I promise you, if you shoot your gun more than like 400 rounds, your castle nut, if it's not staked, will come loose. I guarantee it. So make sure, like I said, whether you buy or build, this is one that I bought from Smith & Wesson, and you see they did a stake job. Now, they only staked it once. And like I said, if I build a rifle, I prefer to stake it twice. But so one of the other topics that I wanted to talk about was if you buy a complete rifle, like I said, it does come with a warranty, but if you buy from certain deep places, they're going to come with a warranty as well. PSA will. I mean, BCM will too. They're not going to sell you something, especially like a complete upper, and then not have some kind of warranty with it. So don't like, oh, if I build something, I'm not going to have any warranty. That's not going to happen. If you screw something up in the build, then that's on you. So one things that I would suggest if you wanted to build was maybe try to find a buddy that has all the parts and has done it that can help you. Also, there is still videos up on YouTube that you can watch and just research. But building isn't as scary, and it can save you money. Now, the good thing about buying a rifle, if you buy one, is not only do you get a warranty, and if you leave everything stock, for the most part, if you leave everything stock, I mean, it's in warranty that way. You don't have any problems. It's not like you change stuff out and then you have a problem and now you got to send it back and they're like, well, you changed all this out. So if you buy a complete rifle, just leave it stock for the most part. I mean, change the charging handle out, whatever, but don't be changing bolt carrier groups and stuff out. If you want to change bolt carrier groups and all that crap out, just build a rifle. It's going to be cheaper that way. But one of the things about buying a rifle is there's factory trained technicians, gunsmiths putting these together, hopefully. For the most part, there's the people that are putting these together, they do it for a living, so technically they should have better understanding and know-how, and like I said, they do it every day for a living. You would hope that the rifle is going to be squared away from the get-go, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you can get a rifle from the factory that has issues. I've seen it, I've had that happen. One of the other things, if you buy a rifle, it's going to come with a magazine. If you build a rifle, it's not going to come with a magazine. And that's not a problem because the magazines aren't expensive. So just pick yourself up magazines. If you buy a rifle and it comes with one, you need more than one magazine. So either way, you're going to have to buy magazines. That's not really an issue, but I did want to mention that. Both of these rifles are excellent rifles. So I bought this complete Smith & Wesson. It was about $700, and I put the sights on, I put the charging handle on, and I put an optic on. I changed the charging handle out to a Radian Raptor, and that was $1,000. Oh, I put the sling on, and I put this Magpul foregrip on, and that was $1,000. And that was like my budget for this. I didn't want to spend any more. I am going to put a light on it because this is going to be a home defense rifle at some point. But the problem with when you buy a rifle, it gets expensive fast. So when you build a rifle, you can see here, like I have a nickel boron bolt carrier group, I have a nickel boron trigger, I have the upgraded Magpul stuff. Oh, and included in the $1,000 for this rifle is the Magpul stuff too. So, but basically I bought the rifle, I added the Magpul stuff, and you know, the optic and it was a cheap optic, and you know, that's $1,000. So with this rifle, I have upgraded charging handle, I have the upgraded bolt carrier group, trigger, which this trigger is not the best anyways, but now the upper came with the sight, the Magpul sights. I bought the Sig Sauer Romeo red dot. If you open this up on the inside, I have a better, nicer buffer. That's a Spikes tactical buffer. Just an added creature comfort. And I got the Magpul stuff on it. I have a brake on here, which is coming off because I hate this freaking thing. But anyway, my point is, I built this, and this was only like $800, $850 for all this. So you can get away, if you build, it can cost a lot less to build, and you can get more for your money. That being said, you got to know what you're doing. you buy a strip lower, you put everything together. You gotta make sure you're gonna need a vise. You gotta make sure you torque the castle nut on correctly. I said about the wrench, but you also need a torque wrench, and there's some other things. So, like I said, my first rifle, I bought a rifle, and honestly, I don't know which way you should go. It's up to you, because conventionally, I would say just go buy a rifle. In fact, go buy this Smith & Wesson, because this is an excellent off-the-shelf rifle, good warranty, good customer service, and Smith & Wesson and their sport line has had an excellent track record. But then the other part of me is like, well, maybe you should just go and build yourself a rifle. It's really not that hard to put in some pins. You're not really building anything with an AR-15. You're just assembling it. You're literally plug and playing stuff in the lower. It's really not hard. And you're going to save yourself money. So I did want to show my go-to rifle off. If you follow my channel, you already know what it is. But this is a Colt, and this is like my go-to-war gun. This Smith & Wesson here is kind of like a home defense gun slash there's fucking people outside that need to go. This would probably be the rifle I grabbed if I'm going and there's shit's hitting the fan and I may not get back or what the fuck ever. This would be the rifle that I grab. This is my Colt. It's got a SOCOM barrel. It's chrome lined. An excellent rifle. It's got an ACOG on it. There's no batteries, no mess, ambi safety. But I bought this rifle, and you see the Colt logo. I bought this rifle and it was about $1,500. Now it came with the ambi safety, and it came with the sling mount here, and it came with the rail system. So I like to build and I like to buy. I did upgrade the charging handle to PRI gas buster, and I put the sling on it and the Surefire light. But I like to build and buy, and I don't think there's anything wrong with either of them. No matter which way you go, I think you'll be happy. The only two things I'll caution you on, well, one I already said about staking the castle nut, and even if you buy a rifle, make sure your castle nut is staked. The other thing that I want to caution you on is buying an AR-15 without either a nitrided barrel or a chrome lined barrel. If it doesn't have either of those two, don't buy it. If it just has a Parkerized barrel, don't buy it. And the reason for that is because Parkerized barrels just don't last long. You want a nitrided barrel to help to protect against corrosion. It also helps the barrel wear more evenly. So does chrome lining. I used to say I prefer chrome lining, but now I don't care. It's either nitride or chrome lining. Both of them work great for a semi-automatic rifle. If you're going full auto, then maybe you should get a chrome line barrel. But semi-automatic, just make sure it's a nitrided barrel or chrome lined. Don't waste your money on just a phosphate coated barrel. It's just not going to last. I mean, if you're not going to shoot it often, whatever. If you're going to upgrade it later. But like I said, the Smith is an excellent way to go. It's got all those features I said. It's got a stake castle nut. The only thing that I don't necessarily like is it doesn't have a pin gas block. This Colt here has a pin gas block. You can see me flip it over there. You can see the pins. So this gas block will not move no matter what. There's pins will never come out. You can beat that pin, you can beat that front gas block to your blue in the face and you'll never get it to move. Whereas these low profile gas blocks, they're held in by set screws. So far so good. I haven't had any issues. But now you can get low profile gas blocks that are pinned on. Colt makes them, BCM makes them, Daniel Defense makes them, and even PSA has a couple uppers that they sell with pin gas blocks. So, but both of these rifles just have gas blocks held on by set screws. I just want you to be aware of that. There's things you need to be aware of when you go to buy a rifle. So anyways, this video is getting super long, so I'm going to cut it off here. like I said, build or buy. If you're looking to save money, maybe you should look into building. But if you don't know what you're doing, you know, maybe just buy a rifle. I've done both. I like both. And I don't think you can go wrong with either. So have a good day. Thanks for watching.